and welcome to PlayStation Grenade. Red Dead Redemption 2 is within touching distance, and like most Rockstar fans, I've read every single morsel of information I can from those people lucky enough to have played the game already. Here are 28 things I believe you need to know about Red Dead Redemption 2. Oh, and if you've still got GTA 5, get it reinstalled right now. There's some free content to unlock for Redemption 2, but we'll get to that very soon. By now, I think we all know the basic setting of the game, but just in case, I'll quickly reiterate. Red Dead Redemption 2 is set before the actions of the first game, 12 years in fact, and 19 years after Red Dead Revolver.
Widow's Pad saved by Limey!
I have a breakdown of both those stories coming next week, by the way. We play as Arthur Morgan, the second in command of the Dutch van der Linde band of outlaws. At the turn of the century, the cowboy way of life was under threat, and as we join the game, we play through the final years of this seemingly villainous gang. As this is a sequel, returning characters are pivotal. We've already seen John Marston, and we know that he is an NPC in the game, but so too are his son Jack and wife Abigail. Others that can be noticed include Uncle, and of course all the gang, Dutch, Javier, Bill. This has got me thinking about other characters we could see from other Red Dead games. Maybe Landon Ricketts, the greatest gunslinger in the West? This time setting would have been the peak of his skill set, so hopefully he'll pop up. There's a plethora of characters who could return and I think will reappear in Red Dead Redemption 2. In fact, come back to the channel next week for a breakdown of the most likely cameos we'll see. The outlaw camp that we stay in will act as the main hub of the game, for missions and interactions. The camp will require upkeep to improve the morale of the group. Arthur is able to contribute, such as helping others with their issues or simply hunting for food. Ultimately, we need those happy campers. When going on missions with our gangmates, keep in mind that Arthur can loot bodies, like you'd expect, but here's the potential issue. Your gang companions will do the same. Yeah, they'll loot everyone. Time to move quickly, Arthur. Just in case you're worried that you don't remember Red Dead Redemption 1 or disliked those characters, worry no longer. There are brand new characters to meet, and the entire story, although full of nods to the original games, will never expect you to have played them. The story is completely unique. Just like in GTA 5, it is possible to play Red Dead Redemption 2 in first person, or the typical third person perspectives. The animations have been improved, so first person should be less nauseating this time around. If you're a Fallout player, the ability to switch views will be appreciated, but for me, I'm sticking with third person. Out of interest, will you play in first person perspective? We've been told this is a living, breathing world, but come on, we hear that about every single game that's ever released. But in Red Dead Redemption 2, something as inconsequential as the wildlife in the trees has been expanded upon. Almost 200 species of wildlife can be found. When we're not there, they'll live their own way, with predators and prey, the food chain in full flow. Of course, we can disrupt that ecosystem, and knowing mankind will hunt them all to extinction. Oh, something I found interesting, if Arthur shoots, say, a deer too many times, its carcass will be ruined and the pelt won't be worth a penny. One bullet, right between the eyes, is what's required here. To help us out, Deadeye from Red Dead Redemption and Revolver is back again and levels up throughout the game. In its basic form, Deadeye will slow down time like the Matrix. With upgrades, we'll begin to paint targets and unleash a barrage of metal to their skulls. It's even possible to find weak spots on each enemy. Wow, who knew that a head was a weak spot? Nice. Hey, as we're already talking about weapons, let's dig a little bit deeper. Rockstar are trying to be a little bit more realistic in Red Dead Redemption 2. Remember the GTA 5 weapon wheel, where you'd be able to pull a minigun out of your backside? No such luck in Redemption 2. Arthur is only able to carry 2 sidearms at once, or 2 rifles at once. Other things like knives can be carried too, as long as it fits in with the character and the world. The weapons themselves will degrade over time. Just like in Red Dead Revolver, the damage output will be affected, or the time to reload will increase, or the accuracy will reduce. These stats are impacted upon by real-world interactions. Small things, like walking through a river, will cause your favourite weapon to rust and degrade. Don't worry, we can repair them, but knowing this issue may drive us to find a bridge rather than risking crossing a river on foot. Going back to the hunting point again. If a pelt is placed on your horse and walked through a river, it's likely to fall off and become waterlogged and useless. So tiny things just like that have an impact on your overall experience. And if that carcass is left too long, it will decompose, attracting vultures and coyotes. Damn those coyotes. One last note about weapons, it's possible to blow enemy limbs off with shotguns. How lovely does that sound? The honour system found in many games is once again in Red Dead Redemption 2. Generally, it's a choice of good or bad, but hopefully it will have more depth than that. Your actions have consequences and reflects in the way you are treated in the world, and even the kill cams will be different. If you're a trusted worthy gentleman, Arthur, your kill cam will focus on you looking damn good. Whereas if you're an evil SOB, the camera will focus on the holes you put in people. I don't know about you, but I'm going to be a complete horrible little bastard. Usually in video games, the gameplay and cutscenes are easily noticed. In Red Dead Redemption 2, Rockstar are attempting to raise standards and combine gameplay and cinematics seamlessly. Look at this example. As Arthur takes the shot, it cuts into the dialogue instantly, maintaining the flow between shots. This is raising the bar completely. Speaking of killing people, the wanted mechanic returns. Again, like in the previous Red Dead, should you commit a crime, you will become a wanted man. This will be broken down into stages of severity. Depending on witnesses, Arthur could remain unknown. A sheriff or bounty hunter may arrive, but they don't know what Arthur looks like. So our anonymity is intact, as long as we can blend in. On the other end of the scale, it's the good old wanted dead or alive. Like you'd guess, they'll be gunning for you, knowing exactly what you look like, and chances are they prefer to kill you than take you alive. There are small ways to help yourself, such as using a bandana to cover your face during crime capers. Even paying off bounties is possible. But do be warned, the NPCs will remember and potentially bring it up later in the story. Kind of like Zelda and stealing something from a store, only to return 10 hours later and find the store owner still wants to murder you. Have you ever played The Witcher 3? Of course you bloody well have. Well, just like Geralt, Arthur's hair will grow over time, and so will his facial hair. It's your choice if you let him resemble a hippie or you go for the clean-cut route. Personally, I'm making Arthur into a Viking. I do hope we can shape his beard. In addition to hair growth, clothing, hunger, cleanliness, weather changes are all present and affect one another. As the cold weather closes in, Arthur will require changes to his attire. Something as simple as a coat on top of his usual clothing will help. Without that extra layer, stamina will deplete quicker. Similarly with food, Arthur can and must chow down just like in real life. Was cheesecake a thing back then? I hope it was. Of course, eating too much will cause Arthur to pile on the pounds, so I'm going to make a bearded blob of a cowboy, just like Hagrid. You're a cowboy, Harry. Map size and locations have been revealed, and like you'd expect, the map is touted to be the largest ever. Realistically though, the map will feel larger due to the modes of transport from back in the time. Try as it might, that horse can't travel as fast as an aeroplane in GTA 5. In terms of specific locations, Red Dead Redemption 2 has 5 areas confirmed at present: New Hanover, New Austin, West Elizabeth, Amberino and Lemoyne. Sorry about the pronunciation there. New Austin and West Elizabeth both appeared in the previous Red Dead game, which means Armadillo, Fort Mercer and the McFarlane Ranch should hopefully still be around. Remember the first time John went to Fort Mercer in Red Dead? As an added unsubstantiated point here, recently it has been suggested that the entire Red Dead Redemption 1 map will be playable in Red Dead Redemption 2. Could this mean we see the original game released as DLC? I'm likely overreaching there. Back to locations, but to be a little bit more specific, inside locations. All these places will have buildings to enter. There'll be a ton of interiors to discover in Red Dead Redemption 2, and for me the greatest thing here are those drawers and cupboards to be opened for clues. I know this sounds really underwhelming, but I love Easter eggs, and we'll be scavenging through every single drawer to find out what happened to Red Harlow at the end of Red Dead Revolver. Here's a point to note about locations in general. As we complete each story mission, time will pass in the game. Sometimes a few minutes, sometimes a few days, sometimes even longer. This means the settlements you're in will change, evolve, grow, deplete. A newly created building will be a little bit tall the next time you see it. Or maybe a bank heist involves blowing up a wall. That wall will need to be rebuilt over time in the game. If you play Fortnite, think of it like that building in Tilted Towers that took months to rebuild. In Red Dead Redemption 2, the complete map will evolve over time and will likely end looking like that of Red Dead Redemption 1. Every single Rockstar game comes with improvements to artificial intelligence. Red Dead 2 will have us face off with enemies who will flank us. They'll hide, they'll sneak into different vantage points, they'll climb above us to gain the high ground advantage. RDR2 should see the greatest AI we've faced in a Rockstar game. To be honest, I'm gonna miss Red Dead Revolver's AI. I loved those buffoons. So I mentioned GTA 5 at the start of the video. Most people have 2 copies of that game since it released over 2 console generations. You may not be aware, but 2 weapons for Red Dead Redemption 2 can be unlocked right now inside GTA 5. Literally free unlocks for playing Grand Theft Auto. To grab the new weapons, log into GTA Online and follow bounty hunter missions which come through your phone from Maud. Taking down a few bounties will reward you with the Stone Hatchet, both in GTA Online and Red Dead Redemption 2. There's also a treasure hunt to complete, which again rewards you with a weapon in both games. This time it's the double action revolver. That's a pretty damn good touch from Rockstar. And remember, when we made our characters in GTA Online, we could be the great grandson of John Marston himself. Speaking of GTA, a worry many players have is how horses will replace their beloved vehicles. Well, put bluntly, they're the same. They have stats, they have paint jobs, they have alloys, they have wheel trims. Well, okay, they don't have those. But to a degree, they are customizable. But the main focus will be to build up a bond with your horse, feeding them, calming them down, caring for them. But if that doesn't sound masculine and manly enough for you, we can instead find rare breeds of horses in Red Dead 2 which have improved stats. If you remember all those years ago, in the DLC for Red Dead 1, we could locate the 4 horses of the apocalypse. Literally, horses taking the fabled titles of famine, pestilence, war and death. Expect Red Dead Online to have a range of horses to find. Oh, that's another segue. Red Dead Online. The online portion of Rockstar Games has become huge business. Bloody shark cards. Expect Red Dead 2 to attempt to claim our very souls for about 5 years, just like GTA 5 did. Around late November, the Red Dead Online beta will begin. The beta part is very important here. Remember the issues with GTA Online when it first released? Expect something similar with Red Dead. But once this smooths out, probably by January, then expect content to be added regularly to allow you and friends to rob banks, take down rival gangs, and generally cause havoc everywhere. Let's get back to the main campaign though, and things that we know. Side quests will be another important element in Red Dead 2, with the main story impacted by seemingly unrelated side missions. Not only that, but one of the greatest things in the original game was the strangers and freak missions, such as helping a chap who is convinced he could fly. He most definitely couldn't. Or there was a woman looking for her husband, who I'm pretty sure was a ghost. These missions were insane and packed full of character. More of that in RDR 2 will be fantastic. In addition to being a badass cowboy, there'll be pastimes to allow you to chill out from time to time. How about a game of poker? Or a nice bloodbath game of 5-finger fillet? Or if that's not to your speed, what about fishing? The world is built to immerse you. You don't have to go and do any missions if you just want to relax. A small but highly impactful piece of information is about your heads-up display. Red Dead Redemption 2 gives us a fully customizable HUD. If you ever played God of War without all the on-screen clutter, you know how immersive that can feel. From the outset, Red Dead Redemption 2 has a reduced HUD, but it can be tweaked further to make the game feel more film-like. We can shut it off completely too. It may make the game a little bit more difficult, but it'll look damn impressive. And finally, as if you didn't already know, Red Dead Redemption 2 releases on October the 26th. It's so close. Over the next few weeks, I'll be breaking down the stories of Red Dead Redemption and Red Dead Revolver and looking at characters we will likely see again. I'm currently replaying Red Dead Redemption right now to find pieces of information that should apply to Red Dead 2, such as, did you know John had a daughter? More on that next week. I'm Adam from PlayStation Grenade. It's been a bloody pleasure. I'll see you next time.